Welcome to the 17th lecture in the lecture series on management and entrepreneurship for IT industry. In the today's lecture, we are going to start the third module or the second half of the second part of the syllabus, that is entrepreneurship. So in the first and second module, we discussed the various aspects of the management, that is planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. And in third module, we start with the entrepreneurship, which is very much essential in the today's dynamic world. In the today's lecture, we are going to discuss about what do you mean by entrepreneur, functions of entrepreneur, characteristics of entrepreneur, and how the concept of entrepreneurship evolved. At the end of the lecture, we have a better understanding of the entrepreneur. The content we discussed in the earlier class was the controlling, which was nothing but the last part of the management activity. We discussed steps in controlling, essentials of sound control system, and methods of establishing the control. In a world we live in, the ideas drive economies. There is no wonder that innovation and entrepreneurship are often seen as inseparable. The science and technology, students have to be motivated and trained to think out of the box so that an entrepreneurial culture is built. The once feasible way of doing a business are no longer guarantees for future economic success. Hence, the governments around the world have started to realize that entrepreneurship and innovation need to be encouraged in order to sustain progress and improve the country's economy. Entrepreneurial development in recent times has assumed great importance since it is a key to the economic development of the country. Entrepreneurs are responsible for industrial development, and the fruits of industrial development are greater employment opportunities to the unemployed and increase in income levels of the people, improvement in standard of living, increased revenue to the government by way of direct and indirect taxes, and balanced regional development. India needs entrepreneurship for two reasons: to capitalize on new opportunities and to create wealth and new job opportunities. Let us formally define what is an entrepreneur. So, entrepreneur is a person who undertakes an enterprise, and the process of creation is called entrepreneurship. Now, various experts had given various definitions. Peter Drucker defines entrepreneurship as one who always searches for change and responds to it and exploit it as an opportunity. Innovation is the specific tool of entrepreneurs, the means by which they exploit changes as an opportunity for different businesses or services. An entrepreneur can be considered as a person who bears the risk of operating a business in the face of uncertainty about the future conditions. Next is how the entrepreneurship came into existence or how it evolved. Entrepreneur is a person who creates enterprise, and the process is called as entrepreneurship. The term entrepreneur is derived from the French verb entreprendre in the 12th century. It means to undertake. It was originally meant to designate an organizer of musical or other entertainments. In the earlier 16th century, it was applied to those who were engaged in military expeditions. It was extended to cover civil engineering activities in the 17th century. In 1800, when French economist Richard Centillion described entrepreneur as one who bears risk by buying at certain prices and selling at uncertain prices, which is closer to the terms that we apply today. In 1848, the famous economist John Stuart Mill described entrepreneurship as the founding of a private enterprise. This encompassed the risk takers, the decision makers, and the individuals who desire wealth by managing limited resources to create new business ventures. In this way, the evolution of the concept of entrepreneur is considered over nearly 4 centuries. Some of the characteristics of entrepreneurs are risk taking, organization creation, creating value, profit, growth, uniqueness, etc. Next is, what are the functions of the entrepreneur? So entrepreneur is the one who is responsible for planning of the project. So like any other activity, planning is the first step of entrepreneur. The entrepreneur prepares the plan of proposed project or business in a very systematic way. The planning involves the study of various ideas, scanning and selecting the best idea, selection of product line and location of plant, deciding the type of business organization, preparation of budget and identifying capital sources, then studying the government rules, regulations and policies, study and selection of workforce, study and selection of marketing strategies. Then entrepreneur is also responsible for the management, that is for managing day-to-day problems, and these also include the future expansion and policies in the long run. Then entrepreneur is the one who faces the risk. The entrepreneur should undertake responsibility of risk due to unforeseen situations. Then the entrepreneur is responsible for the distribution of rewards in terms of both quantitative and qualitative. The entrepreneur is responsible for the sale of products and the scale of organization. In order to make the products to be highlighted in the market, the entrepreneur has to create such a demand for the market. Then scale of the production can be enhanced by following the appropriate policies inside the organization. Then joint stock organization, so which states that the entrepreneurs can jointly organize the different is jointly organize then jointly manage an organization. Then coming to the characteristics of entrepreneur. So this is the most important thing. The first is the creativity. So what do you mean by creativity? Creativity is nothing but it is the ability to bring something new into existence. So creativity is not the activity of bringing, it is not it is the ability, it is not the activity of bringing something new into existence. A person may therefore conceive of something new and envision how it will be useful. So the creativity involves germination, preparation, incubation, illumination and verification. Now what is the preparation? Once the seed of curiosity has taken form as an idea, creative people embark on a conscious search for answers. If it is a problem they are trying to solve, then they begin an intellectual journey seeking information about the problem and how others have tried to resolve it. If it is an idea for a new product or service, then market research is the business equivalent. Then inventors will set up laboratory experiments, designers will begin engineering new product ideas, and marketers will study consumer buying habits. Then the second is the preparation. Before that we have a germination. The germination stage is the seeding process. It is not like planting seed as a farmer does to grow corn, but it is like natural seeding that occurs when pollinated flower seeds scattered by the wind find fertile ground to take root. The exact manner in which an idea is germinated is a mystery. It is not something that can be examined under a microscope. The next is the preparation. As we seen, preparation is nothing but it is the one which makes the environment clear for the germination. Then the third is incubation. Then individuals sometimes concentrate intensely on an idea, but more often they simply allow ideas time to grow without intentional effort. The idea, once seeded and given substance through preparation is put on a back burner, the subconscious mind is allowed time to assimilate information. Incubation is a stage of mulling it over while the subconscious intellect assumes control of the creative process. This is a crucial aspect of creativity because we consciously focus on a problem and we behave rationally to attempt to find systematic resolutions. Then the next stage is the illumination. The fourth stage in the creativity is the illumination, which occurs when the idea resurfaces as a realistic creation. There will be a moment in time when we say, "Oh, see." So that is, illumination may be triggered by an opportune incident. The important point here is that the most creative people go through many cycles of preparation and incubation and searching for that catalyst of an incident that give their idea full meaning. Then the last step is the verification. An idea once illuminated in the mind of an individual continues to have little meaning until verified as realistic and useful. Entrepreneurial effort is essential to translate an illuminated idea into a verified, realistic, and useful application. Verification is a stage of development that refines knowledge into application. Then the second step in the second characteristic of the entrepreneur is the innovation. The entrepreneurs are innovators. So innovation is the specific instrument of entrepreneurship. It is the act that makes the resources with a new capacity to create wealth. A small scale enterprise today need not remain small forever. There are chances for the unit to grow from small to large. For example, in Japan, the relevant sector is called small and medium scale industry, revealing the government philosophy and growth expectation. The entrepreneur should be futuristic and innovative. The systematic innovation means monitoring the 7 sources of innovation opportunity. They are the unexpected, that is the unexpected success, unexpected failure, unexpected outside event. Then incongruity, that is between reality as it actually is and reality as it is assumed to be. Then innovation based on process need, changes in industry structure or market structure that catches everyone unawares. Demographies, that is population changes. Then changes in perception, mood and meaning. Then last is new knowledge, that is scientific and non-scientific. Then the third characteristic of the entrepreneur is dynamism. Innovation with dynamism constitute potential combination for prosperity. Dynamism revises the targets of enterprise upwards time and again. The enterprise may open up new vistas, better product mix, or a very fancy product image stimulating steady growth. A dynamic entrepreneur is always pragmatic. That is, given the potentialities of the enterprises, the entrepreneur sets attainable goals which are to be accomplished within specific time frames. A sole entrepreneur should promote a second line of decision making mechanism to prevent a void being created in his absence. A good entrepreneur manager trains his staff continuously besides undergoing the same process himself. An efficient entrepreneur must be good at managing change. The next important characteristic is the leadership. Leadership is the basic quality of an entrepreneur. This spirit keeps the entrepreneur paces forward in any field. Leadership qualities will enable person to stand apart in whatever profession he might be. The quality of the leadership is clear from personal relationships, mode of handling a problem, generating resources, and taking others into one's own stride. Then the next is team building. An entrepreneur should have an ability to build a team. A team is nothing but a group of individuals with a common purpose, and that is focused and aligned to achieve a specific task or set of outcome. A good team will be able to share knowledge, core competency, and goals. The team building skill consists of following, that is, step 1 is wanting to feel better, step 2 is identifying the problem and needs of the enterprise, step 3 is creating a vision, step 4 is setting goals for the group, and step 5 is reviewing the process. With mutual trust in place, teamwork breeds a healthy organizational climate which is needed for developing a perfect team. The collaboration and consensus bring the synergetic effect in the enterprise. Then the next is the achievement motivation. Entrepreneurs have a high need for achievement and are guided by their inner self, motivating their behavior towards accomplishment. Most entrepreneurs are attracted to this innovative career for one good reason, that is that it is challenging and demands a high degree of intelligence and involvement. Entrepreneurships are classified into three categories. Some are only dreamers and they indulge in nice dreams. They are not capable of translating their dreams into action. Then the second set of entrepreneurs belong to the category of doubters. That is, they always have a negative attitude and never expand their activities and never take any risk and never go out of their way to achieve anything. Then the third are the doers. The third set of entrepreneurs are the doers. They always accept any challenge and take a calculated risk to do something worthwhile. It is necessary to contact such highly successful entrepreneurs and ask them what motivated them to become successful in their life. In India, we have a number of such entrepreneurs who started their business activity from scratch. They may be considered as entrepreneurs of the first generation, and these entrepreneurs had to go through a great ordeal to achieve success. For example, Jamshedji Tata was a first generation entrepreneur in the days when British policy was not to encourage Indian enterprises beyond a point. Jamailal Bajaj was also considered as a great pioneer and first generation entrepreneur in the Bajaj family. Charat Ram and Bharat Ram, who started their careers at the bottom of rung, buffing coal into boilers and washing floors, became great go-getters. Business families of Tata, Birla, Singhania, Kirloskar, Bajaj, and a host of others were really pathfinders and pioneers in their respective fields. Then the next characteristic is the problem solving. It is the important that an entrepreneur should be able to solve problems and not avoid them. A formal problem solving model helps entrepreneurs to solve problems on a logical manner. There are six. The model consists of the six steps. First is to define a problem. Second is to gather information. Third is to identify various solutions. Fourth is to evaluate alternatives and select the best option. Fifth is to take the action, and sixth is to evaluate the action taken. Brainstorming is a creative group problem solving technique that involves generating a large number of fresh ideas. In brainstorming sessions, several people gather in a room to discuss a particular problem. The meeting is informal and everyone is encouraged to volunteer possible solutions. A designated person writes down all of the ideas, and the person who called the meeting serves as the moderator. The moderator maintains order during the brainstorming session and makes sure that everyone has a chance to be heard. The moderator makes sure the group doesn't stray far from the problem being examined. The ideas are not analyzed or criticized at brainstorming session, but the purpose is to share creative ideas regardless of how practical or impractical they may be. So all after brainstorming session, all ideas are carefully evaluated and the list of ideas that are practical to implement are prepared. Then the next is the goal orientation. The next characteristic is the goal orientation. The goal setting is the achievement of targets and objectives for successful performance of an entrepreneur, both long run and short run. It helps to measure how well individuals and groups are meeting the performance standards. There are different aspects for goal settings. The first is the clarity of goals, then reformulation of goals, then restating of goals, then at the time we have a plan of action, then defining standards of performance and measurement criteria, recognizing risks and obstacles, goal reaffirmation and goal attainment. Then there are different types of goals: target oriented, achievement oriented, specific, overall, secondary, long range and personal goals. A performance sensitive organization always strive to set goals which should be a balance of the various categories. Once the appropriate mix is identified, the task of goal setting is easier. Then the next characteristic that an entrepreneur should possess is risk taking and decision making ability. Entrepreneurs are the risk bearers. Risk bearing and decision making calls for absolute clarity in thinking and coordinated actions. Though decision making can be caught in classroom and perfected through experience, individual ability always stands supreme. Every decision pertaining to an enterprise involves risk. As a matter of fact, economic decisions become critical in an atmosphere of uncertainty. And uncertainty is faced not just by a single enterprise but by all, like the market. A good entrepreneur should avoid excessively high as well as low risk situation. Risk bearing is an indication of an extreme sensitivity to cost consciousness and a passion for profit. The focus should always be on the market. The entrepreneur should believe in competition. The progress of an entrepreneur depends increasingly on effective knowledge and its continuous updating and proper utilization. Then the last characteristic that an entrepreneur should possess is commitment. One of the subtle qualities of an entrepreneur is the willpower. The strong determination with the sound thinking fortifies willpower. It is determination that provides the entrepreneur energy to work for 15 to 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 52 weeks in a year till the unit reaches a natural stage of takeoff. So, these are the 10 characteristics that an entrepreneur should possess. Let's summarize what we discussed in the today's session. In the today's lecture, we discussed about the entrepreneur, the meaning of the entrepreneur, that is, entrepreneur is a an entrepreneur is a person who bears the risk of operating a business in the face of uncertainty about the future condition. Then we looked into the evolution of the entrepreneurship concept, that is, entrepreneurship has started very long back. So in 16th century it was used in the military expeditions, and in 1700s it was used in the civil engineering works, and in 18th century onwards, so entrepreneurship is being used with the economic activity. Next we looked into the functions of the entrepreneur. So the various functions are planning, then management, risk bearing, joint stock organization, sale of products, scale of production, etc. Then we looked into the 10 characteristics of the entrepreneur. So the 10 characteristics are creativity, innovation, dynamism, leadership, team building, achievement motivation, problem solving, goal orientation, risk taking and decision making, and at the last, commitment. The today's lecture we discussed about the entrepreneur and the types of the qualities the entrepreneur should possess. So today's lecture forms the basic building block of the entrepreneurial study. So hence today's lecture falls under the category of Bloom's taxonomy 1. Hence it is L1. That's for the today's class. Thank you.